What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we got another car. This is a SAAB 93 2006. It's a wagon AERO, and without further ado, let's let the intro roll and we'll get more into what makes this the ultimate daily and why I chose to buy a SAAB over any other practical European car. Now, starting off, this is the new daily. This is a sport combi, which is technically just a wagon, but it's a SAAB. If you don't know about SAAB, SAAB's an interesting company. They used to make airplanes for a long time. They still do. And then they made cars for a long time with the 900s and 9000s and so on and so forth. Eventually, GM acquired them and they started making like 93s and 95s. And this is a 2006 93 AERO sport combi. So this is kind of a GM Holden weird hodgepodge of cars, but it was built in Sweden. This is a Swedish-built car with the Holden Australian V6 turbo motor. Why I chose to buy this over like any other car, I have no fucking clue. I just decided that this popped up and I wanted it. We originally went to LA to get this car with my dad. It was a very, very fun journey. We went out to LA to look at a Mazda Speed 3. And the guy didn't have the title. He said he had the title. We drove 6 hours to his house, test drove the car. I was like, all right, it's not perfect, but I can work with it. And he didn't have the title in hand. So I hopped on Marketplace, found that this had been listed about 6 hours before, texted the person, said, hey, I want to buy your car. Went out, checked it out, and it was A1. So we bought this thing, drove it back 6 hours in the night with no air conditioning. It doesn't have a radio, like none of that. It was a very brutal journey, but we made it back. It's a good car. We'll get more into depth what makes it special. This is gonna be kind of a nerdy video, kind of like how we did the Z video, just kind of talking and rambling on. But without getting too geeky, let's go over what makes this car cool. So first off, it's a sport combi, which is just a wagon. It's just another way of saying wagon. The Swedish like to use fun terms. So this is a sport combi, which obviously means it's got a very long behind, and it's not a sedan. 93s came in sedan and wagon. This is a sport combi, like I said. So that's what first off makes this car kind of unique and cool. There aren't too many left, let alone an AERO. So this is an AERO, which is the top of the line. So it has bows, leather seats, the bigger motor, etc., etc. You could get an AERO with the 2-liter turbo Ecotec, but this does not have that. It's sitting on Bilstein coilovers. I guess they're not real coilovers, they're just kind of replacement springs and struts, but it does lower it quite a bit. It's on 19-inch custom wheels. The previous owner had a wheel shop and a paint shop, so he said he actually made these for the car, which is pretty sweet. I'm digging it. It's sitting on some nice tires. A little lower profile than I'd like. I think I'm gonna go to a 40 over the 35 that it is currently. Some weird things that I'm still not confirmed on with the car. I believe it has Hirsch side skirts and rear spats. I don't think it has a Hirsch front bumper or splitter rather, but the side skirts definitely look like Hirsch, which is kind of like their performance division, but it's kind of weird because we never really got that here. So if any of you SAAB nerds know, let me know, but these look like Hirsch skirts to me. It's got European mirrors, which is kind of funny. They're for a right-hand drive model, so they're not perfect. I mean, you can see out of them, but you can tell that the actual glass is reversed, which is kind of funny to me. Coming up to the front end, it's pretty stock. It's got this front splitter, like I said. It's a very tame looking car, and of course you'll see this in the B-roll, but it's a good vehicle. It is automatic, sadly, and a front-wheel drive model, so it's not the all-wheel drive manual, which I believe these could get, but this one is not. It's very simple, it's very clean, it's elegant. I love this car. There's not much else to say. I'll show you guys some interior bits. Like I said, it's not perfect. So originally when we drove back, didn't have air conditioning. We did fix that though. We went out and basically just recharged the whole system. I believe, it does have an upgraded radiator as well, which is why I believe when they were working on the radiator and intercooler for this car, they had to pull the condenser because it sits right in between those. And I think I just never recharged the system. So when we were at the shop at Porsche, we just checked, it had 0.0007 of a pound of Freon in it. So we fixed that, charged it up, and it's been holding pressure for a few days. So, that's good. Air conditioning works very well now. It has an ICM3, which is like the upgraded nav unit, and that is broken, which is going to be a pain in the ass because they're kind of hard to find / fix. It's an optical system, so that's the only reason why this doesn't have a radio right now. It's in there, just not working very well. It's got an intake DO or D088, which is kind of cool. And then besides that, performance wise, it's very stock, but it makes good turbo inlet noise, which is beautiful. Exhaust is stock, it's not too loud. And we'll get more into the weird bits about it. It's got slotted and drilled rotors for some reason, or just slotted rotors, which is kind of cool. It does stop very well. And then it does have LED replacements in the front, which kind of gives it the strobe lights, which is a bit funny, but it is what it is. It's on a CAN bus system, so it sends out pulses of electricity to check if the lights are still there. This car never had LEDs factory, so it doesn't take a lot to light an LED up, and in that case, we get LED strobes, which is kind of cool. I'm cool with it. I do want to do a full paint correction on this car. The paint isn't bad. The clear is still here, thank God. It's been a California car its whole life, but it definitely has a lot of deep scratches and whatnot, and I think it could definitely benefit from some paint correction and a good buff and wax. Besides that, though, the plans are to keep it fairly stock. I do want to go a little bit lower. I like the wheels that are on it. It'd be kind of fun to swap to some works or something, but it's a 5x110, so we'd have to run adapters, which would be kind of interesting to figure that out. Let's see. We'll get some interior shots so you guys can see this, but super stock. It's got carbon here, bits here and there. The weird thing about this car is it's a GM product, but it has a lot of weird Swedish shit. Like the ignition, as you guys can see, is in the center. It's right behind the shift knob. It also has a night panel button, which turns off every single gauge except the speedometer, which I've always found kind of fascinating. But besides that, it's a fairly stock Euro interior. These are kind of supposed to compete with Audis and like BMWs at the time, which not a lot of people saw them as that, but it definitely drives like one. Like it has the same feel as it. A lot of the systems they use are very similar, so that's kind of cool. It does have 165,000 miles on it, which is kind of insane, but the maintenance has been kept up on this thing, and it still goes in the boost well. Fuel economy is great. It doesn't have any weird idle issues or anything like that. It drives really straight, which I'm thankful for. The interior is still in very good condition. Saabs are known to kind of be jittery pieces of shit. Not gonna lie, like they kind of break apart. But this one's still holding together. Every electronic works except for the radio, which is nice. But with the future plans of this car, guys, we're not gonna do anything crazy. I'm looking to make this more of a cruiser style daily kind of thing. So power performance, we're not gonna do as much as we are doing on the Z. I think we're just gonna figure it out. Maybe get a new wheel package, but I really dig this. It fits this kind of Euro look. Definitely try to source some rare Euro parts, like the rear wing I want to get extension for, which is gonna be hard to find, but we can do it. But besides that, we put tint on it, and yeah, so excited for you guys to see where this car is going to go, kind of the journey we'll take. I know if you're a Saab nerd, this is kind of like the ultimate Saab. For me, this is like the ultimate Saab. The only thing I wish it was all-wheel drive and manual, but it's still a very solid vehicle, and should be good. Hopefully it'll live up to expectations, but you know, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out our other videos. Last week we went over and got Michael a new GTO, which is a fantastic car. And if you want to see some drifting, go check it out. We also have a bunch of compilations up and track days, which are fantastic videos to watch. And of course, don't forget, if you're into Z's, we do a bunch of Z content as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.